Respected chairman of this national webinar, Sri V. Shashi, former Deputy Speaker of Kerala Assembly, Dr. K.C. Sunny, Dr. V. Sudesh, Dr. K.B. Kempagowda, Sri Sandeep Chandrasekhar, Advocate Chindu Joseph, and other dignitaries and friends. At the very outset, let me congratulate Center for Constitutional Literacy, Chirayankir, and Law and Justice Research Foundation, Trivandrum chapter, for conducting this national webinar on independence and constitutional mandate, Office of the Speaker of Legislative Assembly. I don't want to make a long inaugural address because we have many eminent jurists and experts on this panel. The Constitution defines the powers and functions of three main state organs: legislature, executive, and judiciary. The Constitution also defines the powers and functions of its principal functionaries. Constitution contains sufficient provisions and safeguards to ensure proper balance between these three main state organs. The major constitutional principle in this regard is separation of powers. As far as legislature is concerned, Speaker is the constitutional head of that institution. And as the head of legislature, it is the primary responsibility and duty of Speaker to ensure the freedom, independence, and powers of legislature in lawmaking. The Constitution contains various provisions to ensure the independence and supremacy of legislature in lawmaking. Article 208 of Constitution provides the power for state legislature to frame its own rules of procedure on the condition that such rules shall be subject to the provisions of Constitution. Article 212 provides immunity from legal process for the actions of members of legislature in discharging their duty as a member inside the House. Article 194(3) confers certain privileges to members in discharging their duty as a member fearlessly and impartially. So these are the constitutional provisions which helps the legislature and members of legislature to perform their constitutional duties. And Speaker has an important role in ensuring that legislature performs its duties, fulfilling its responsibilities. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, placed the office of Speaker, had given utmost importance to the post of to the office of Speaker. He once said, let me quote, "The Speaker represents the House. He or she represents the dignity of the House, the freedom of the House, and because the House represents the nation in a particular way, the Speaker becomes a symbol of nation's freedom and liberty. Therefore, that should be an honored position, a free position, and should be occupied always by persons of outstanding ability and impartiality." It has been seen from the office of the Speaker that when the members of Parliament represent the individual constituencies, the Speaker represents the full authority of the House over the House. He symbolizes the dignity and power of the House over which he is presiding. Therefore, it is expected that the holder of this office of high dignity has to be one who can represent the House in all its demonstration. The Speaker belongs to the House. The Constitution contains identical provisions relating to the Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha and their counterparts in the state legislative assemblies. It lays down only the main duties and powers of the Speaker, which are as follows. To permit a member who cannot adequately express himself in Hindi or English or the official language of the state to address the House in his mother tongue. Second, to exercise a casting vote in case of an equality of votes. In case number of votes come equal. I remember in this regard, when casting vote, the power to exercise casting votes, that power was exercised in 1982 in Kerala Assembly. Then Speaker A.C. Jose exercised this power. Number 3, to determine whether a bill is a money bill and to certify a money bill. Number 4, to preside over the House whenever he is present in the House, except when a resolution for his removal from office is under consideration. To adjourn the House when there is no quorum. As the principal spokesperson of the House, the Speaker represents its collective voice and is its sole representation to the outside world. His position as the presiding officer of the House is one of pivotal authority. He regulates the debates and proceedings of the House. He has the responsibility to maintain the order in the House and is equipped with all powers necessary for enforcing his decisions. He also works on points of order raised by members, and his decision in this regard is final. It is a fundamental duty of the Speaker to maintain an order in the House. He derives his disciplinary powers from the rules, and the decisions taken by him in matters of discipline are not to be challenged except on a substantive motion. He may direct any member guilty of disorderly conduct to withdraw from the House and name a member for suspension if the member disregards the authority of the chair and persists in obstructing the proceedings of the House. The Speaker also has the power that he may also adjourn or suspend the business of the House in case of grave disorder. To enable the Speaker to deal with unexpected situations and regulate matters of detail, the rules expressly vest residuary powers in him. Suitable safeguards are provided in the Constitution to ensure that Parliament and the state legislatures can perform their legitimate functions without any outside interference. For instance, the validity of any proceedings of Parliament or state legislatures cannot be called in question on the ground of any alleged irregularity of procedure. Further, no officer or member of Parliament in whom powers are vested by or under the Constitution for regulating the procedure or the conduct of business or for maintaining order in Parliament or the state legislatures shall be subject to the jurisdiction of any court in respect of the exercise by him of those powers. Judicial precedents vis-a-vis parliamentary privileges. You all are well aware of the Tej Kiran versus Sanjeeva Reddy case. The Delhi High Court had held that no proceedings could be taken in a court of law in respect of what is said during the session of Parliament in view of Article 105(2) of the Constitution. The Speaker, in proper exercise of his authority as the custodian of the rights and privileges of the House, advised the members concerned not to appear before the Supreme Court, and later on, the Supreme Court dismissed the appeal by Tej Kiran, Jain and others. Chief Justice Hidayatullah said in his judgment that Article 105(2) of the Constitution gave complete immunity to members for anything said in Parliament. This immunity was not only complete, but was as it should be. It was the essence of the parliamentary system that the representatives of people should be free to express themselves without fear of legal consequences. What they said was only subject to the discipline of the rules of Parliament, the good sense of the members, and the control of proceedings by the Speaker. And in this regard, I would like to add one more thing. When 11 members of Parliament were expelled from the Parliament for accepting bribes in asking questions during question hour in Parliament, Supreme Court issued notice to the then Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Mr. Somnath Chatterjee. And Somnath Chatterjee declined to accept the notices. He said the Supreme Court has no power to issue notice to Speaker of Parliament for his decision to expel these members from the House. One more thing I would like to add. In connection with the developments which took place in Jharkhand Assembly, the court directed the Speaker to video record the whole proceedings and submit the video recording to the court. And it was also challenged, and the Speaker declined to do that. So all these are examples of the supremacy of legislature, supremacy of Parliament and state legislatures in conducting their own proceedings. No court can intervene in the proceedings of state legislatures and Parliament. As far as the conduct of state legislatures and Parliament, the decisions of the Speaker is final. But at the same time, Speaker cannot use his powers arbitrarily. Committee of Presiding Officers headed by V.S. Page, Chairman of the Maharashtra Legislative Council, in its report submitted to the Conference of Presiding Officers of Legislative Bodies in India, held in October 1968. The committee inter alia stated, the principal duty of the Speaker is to regulate the proceedings of the House and to enable it to deliberate on and decide the various matters coming before it. Thus, in considering the various notices or points raised before him, or adjournment of the sitting, or placing matters before the House and the like, the Speaker should always bear this in mind, and where in doubt, he should act in favor of giving an opportunity to the House to express itself. The Speaker should not so conceive his duties or interpret his powers as to act independent of the House. The Speaker should not conceive his duties or interpret his power as to act independent of the House, or to override its authority, or to nullify its decisions. The Speaker is a part of the House, drawing his powers from the House, and in the ultimate analysis, a servant of the House, not its master. That is very important. The distinctions made by the committee is that a Speaker is not the master of the House, He is a servant of the House, and he derives his authority from the House. It was held that on December 13, 1972, when the Tamil Nadu Deputy Speaker MP Srinivasan was served with a notice by the Madras High Court to appear before the court in a case filed by K. Mathiyalangan, challenging his removal from the office of the Speaker, and the Deputy Speaker declined to accept the notice. Claiming privilege under the provisions of Article 212, he said that he could not be and did not propose to be subject to the authority of any court in the exercise of my powers and in the performance of my functions. Let me now conclude. The office of the Speaker in India is, in any parliamentary democracy, is of paramount importance. The Speaker is the constitutional head of the House. He is the predominant spokesperson of the House. It is in him that the responsibility of carrying the working of the House in a way befitting the place of the office in a representative democracy is invested. The founding fathers of our Constitution had recognized the importance of this office in our democratic system, and it turned into this reputation that guided them in establishing this office as one of the outstanding and dignified office within the scheme of governance of the country. The Speaker has an important role in ensuring that the responsibilities and duties of legislature is being performed. And the Speaker has an important role in ensuring proper balance between three state organs: legislature, as I said at the beginning, legislature, executive, and judiciary. So in exercising his duties as the head of the legislature, Speaker should not act arbitrarily. Speaker should reflect the sense of the House. And I would like to congratulate the Center for Constitutional Literacy once again. And I conclude with these words. Thank you very much.